Hi guys! Thought I'd post another storybook for you guys. Now this one is a little bit more difficult than usual, so it will be posted to the upper form kids. So let's see what this one's about, shall we? It's called Making a Space Shuttle, and it's kind of a sciencey book. So this is a space shuttle here, and it's what people use to go up into space nowadays. Although I think by the time you guys are grown up they might use something else, but we can still learn about it. So, now this is quite a long book, as you can see. It's got different sections. So we can have a look at the contents page to find what we think is interesting here. So if you guys come to this book yourself later on or something similar, then if you're interested in a specific topic, then you can find it on the contents page, look. And over here it'll tell you the page number it's on. So for example, if you wanted to read about fuel tanks, you can find page 12 down here and go to it. So let's have a read of the introduction and we'll see how far we get, shall we? So, introduction. For thousands of years, people have looked up into the sky. They have looked at the moon and the sun. They have looked at the stars. People always wanted to know what was in space, but they had no way of getting there. Today, people can get into space. They can get there in spacecraft. The spacecraft have rockets fixed to them. Oh, so that's really interesting, right? This is spacecraft, and here's the rocket. This is the shuttle. Have you ever seen a rocket firework on Guy Fawkes Night? The rockets on spacecraft are like big fireworks. They burn and launch the spacecraft into the air. This firework is a rocket. Space shuttle. A space shuttle carries astronauts into outer space, and this is an astronaut. One kind of spacecraft that you may know about is a space shuttle. A space shuttle carries astronauts into space. A space shuttle uses rockets to launch it into space. Rockets launch the space shuttle through the Earth's atmosphere into space. Would you like to learn more about space shuttles? So look, this is the planet Earth, this is the Earth's atmosphere, and this is the path of the space shuttle. Now, the atmosphere is like all of the air around the Earth, okay? Now, what's really important is that because air is part of the thing that stops us from sort of floating away, and so that, along with gravity, is what the space shuttle needs to escape. So it has to go up past the atmosphere in a very special way. Space shuttles have been built so that they can go up into space more than once. Space shuttles are launched standing up like a rocket, and they land lying down like a plane. So you can see here, because they need such a huge amount of power to break through the atmosphere, they have all of these rockets on the sides of the plane to help it launch up in the air. You just think how much power needs to be used if you have that much fuel. You think about if your mum or dad have a car, or a motorbike even. Think about how big the fuel tank is, and then look at the size of these rockets. Space shuttles have 4 main parts. Each of the parts does a different job. There's the fuel tank, the rocket boosters, there's 2 of those, the orbiter, and here's the main engine. The orbiter is the main part of a space shuttle. This is the part that travels around the Earth. The orbiter has a living room and a kitchen. The outside of the orbiter is covered with special tiles. The tiles stop the shuttle from burning up when it comes back to Earth. Wow, that's really interesting, isn't it? Because actually, when the space shuttle comes back through the atmosphere, it's travelling so fast that it gets incredibly hot. And if you don't have special materials on the outside of the plane, it'll just burn up in a fireball in the air. The main engine is under the orbiter. It is only used when the shuttle is taking off and going up. The shuttle does not use the engine to land, again probably because it's going so fast. They actually use parachutes to slow down the space shuttle when it's landing. Fuel tank. A space shuttle has a large tank of fuel for this engine. Like the engine, it is used when the space shuttle is taking off and going up. The fuel tank falls off when it is empty. Here's the fuel tank. Because of course once that's empty you don't want to be carrying around that extra weight, do you? Otherwise it would be too heavy. And you think about when it lands, it would be difficult for the space shuttle to land on its wheels if it had this fuel tank under it, right? The rocket boosters burn fuel when the shuttle takes off and goes up. When the boosters are empty, they fall off. A team of people collect the rocket boosters. They are then cleaned and checked so that they can be used again. So look, here is a ship, and it's brought one of the rocket boosters back. Here is the rocket booster up here. Now you think about it, each one of these space shuttle launches cost millions of Hong Kong dollars, millions and millions. Now you know about space shuttles, you can make one. Except I don't think that that's the thing we need to do, because we're just reading a book today. So, if you guys want to find out more, you can look back in the index as well. This is something that goes at the end of non-fiction books, and what it does is it shows us where we can find specific topics in the book. So you guys remember, we found something about the atmosphere on page 7. So if we want to read about that again, we can go back to it. Okay? Or look, space is something that's mentioned on a lot of different pages. So anywhere you can find the word space, you can go to these pages about it. You can find an index and a contents page on most non-fiction books. Okay? Right. Well, I hope you guys found that interesting. I know it's a difficult topic, but I find space shuttles to be very, very interesting. So let me guys know what you think, and I hope you enjoyed this book. Bye everybody.